Hello everyone, my name is Roya, and today I'm doing my first monthly recommendations video. Monthly Recommendations is a Goodreads group started by Kayla Rain and Trina from Between Chapters, and the whole idea is that every month they pick a different theme, and we have to come up with recommendations for everyone from that theme. So I figured this was a good one to jump in on because this month's theme is fantasy, and fantasy is my favorite genre, and yeah. So I've watched a lot of people's monthly recommendations fantasy videos this month already, and a lot of them are ones that I've read every single book from already. So I figured that for this video I would go with only the most obscure ones that I could think of that aren't talked about as much. So as much as I love Lord of the Rings and The Name of the Wind and Game of Thrones and everything, I'm not going to mention any of those in this video because they are just too popular and you guys probably already know about them already. So yeah, let's get started. The first fantasy book that I have to recommend you guys today is The Noble Dead Saga by Barb and J.C. Hendy. This is about a half-human, half-vampire named Magyar and a half-elf named Liesel, who both have kind of tragic backstories, and they go off and hunt vampires, or they wind up in situations where they have to fight vampires. In the second book, they also come together with a scholar named Wyn, who is also really, really awesome. And Liesel also has a dog named Chap, and he's also really awesome. There's some really great characters in this. The whole thing is really, really epic. There are a whole bunch of books in this series. The last one is coming out soon. But after the first, 6, I think, there's, a little bit of a point of view change, and the series kind of changes to be from Wyn's point of view for the next, 3 books, and the others aren't really in it, because it takes place during a time when they're not all together. But then, after that, after those 3, then it changes again, and it's about all of them again. There's a blurb on here that says that compares this to a mix of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Lord of the Rings, and I feel like that is a very accurate comparison. By one of the same authors, we have the Mistborn Witches series. This is the third one, Witches with the Enemy, and so far there are only 3 in this series. I believe there will be more. I mean, it'd be kind of weird if there weren't. But this is about 2 girls who are sisters, and one can see the future, and one can see people's futures, and one can see people's pasts. And they use their abilities to kind of figure out what is going on in a variety of different situations. So they solve kind of really weird, mysterious things that are going on in their kingdom, or in the province that they're in. And of course, there's this whole overarching plot of the prince that they're working for and his brother, no one really knows which one is going to succeed their father as the prince of the whole place. So there's a whole lot of craziness in it. There's a lot of political intrigue, all this other stuff. I highly recommend this series. So both of these series are really good. This one kind of walks the fine line between adult and young adult in a way, but this one a bit less so. It's a little bit more on the adult side, but I guess it kind of depends. I'm really not even sure which category they fall into, but they're both really, really awesome. Next one is not one that I have with me, but it is the Green Rider series by Kristen Britton. And this series follows a girl named Kerrigan who is a Green Rider, which are the king's messenger service, and they ride their little horses and go about the kingdom delivering really important, they deliver the most important messages, basically. And so the first book starts off with Kerrigan finding a Green Rider. She first becomes a Green Rider because she finds a Green Rider dying somewhere, and he tells her, okay, this message that I have is really, really important. Please take it and deliver it to the king ASAP. It's a matter of life and death. So she goes, okay, I guess I've got to do it. So she puts on his Green Rider uniform. She takes his horse, and goes off on this crazy adventure while she's just trying to go and get to the king and give him the message. And then the story has progressed a lot from there, and all the following books all deal with like different things she faces as a Green Rider and whatnot. Like totally, each one kind of has a different conflict. So far, there are 5 books in the series. There's a 6th one in the works right now with no cover, no release date, but it has a title. It is called Firebrand. But basically, the series, the first book is called Green Rider, the second one is called Rider's First Call, the third one is called The High King's Tomb, the next one is Black Veil, and the next one is Mirror Sight. The only problem, though, is that it takes a while for each book in this series to come out. I think I actually had to wait like 4 years between the 4th one and the 5th one, which was insane because the 4th one is the only one in the whole series so far that leaves off at a cliffhanger. But that is a very good, like, high fantasy series to read. Even if you're not that into a lot of fantasy and whatnot, it's a good one to get started with because it's not super crazy. And finally, the last one I'm going to tell you about is the Symphony of Ages series by Elizabeth Hayden. This is an adult epic fantasy, and it follows a girl named Rhapsody. And she's basically that setting's equivalent of a half-elf. And she's also a namer, which basically means that she can sing things into being or play things into being, kind of, but it means that she can't lie, ever. The first book is called Rhapsody, and honestly, in my opinion, that is by far the best one in the series. It seriously blew me away. I stopped reading it at about the 4th one because it got really draggy after like the first 3. I mean, it really gets a lot draggier after the first one, but like especially, I mean, it was still good. There was still enough adventure and action in it, but by the 4th one, I just didn't really care anymore. But the first one, I especially recommend. Like, even if you don't read any further in the series, the first one is amazing. There's kind of the occasional plot, like convenient plot device in it, but very rarely. So if convenient plot devices just really, really bother you or something to the point where it ruins a book for you, this might not be the series for you, but for the most part, honestly, like, it's really good. So those are all the recommendations that I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check out the monthly recommendations group if you're interested in doing your own monthly recommendations video, and I will see you soon with a new video. Bye!